Hi guys, welcome to Must Listen Music. I'm Andy Wilson. I'll be giving you album reviews of the greatest album releases each week, and this week I have two albums for you. The first is from a band called Rhye and the album is called Blood. It's fair to say 2017 was a very difficult year for Rhye and Mike Meloche. Co-founder Robin Hannibal left the band. He reportedly split up with his wife. He parted company with his record label Polydor, and he went into the debt on the very first leg of his world tour. Meloche ended up playing almost 500 shows to buy out the remainder of his contract with Polydor. This means the follow-up to the critically acclaimed debut album Woman is essential for the continuation of Rhye as a band. Before hearing the new album, I was concerned about how Rhye would deal with such a turbulent year and whether the weight of the self-funded second album would have a negative impact on his music. I'm delighted to say no it hasn't. This is a great album. Sure, Blood features many of the same characteristics of the debut. It's deeply soulful and seductive with a garnish of R&B, and it provides a beautiful accompaniment to Meloche's velvety, fragile vocals. I mean, let's face it, Rhye have a lot to sing about on this album. His go-to themes of seduction and ecstasy are now accompanied by troubled relationships, and these trio feature heavily on Blood. The thing I love about Rhye is, for a new listener, there's an immediate question on the sex of the singer. For the uneducated, they can go the whole album thinking this is a female vocalist. And when you pair it alongside the ultra-sensitive vocals and evocative nude female imagery on the album artwork, you could be forgiven for assuming that. Upon realising, in fact, it is Meloche, you appreciate these lyrics even more, and they work just as well for a male vocalist. This brings a real sense of intrigue to Rhye. The real fascinating thing about Rhye is the order of the tracks on this album, Blood. It's almost chronological, with the theme of the first half of the album centred around relationship challenges. He actually sings on opening track Waste. So many ways to turn around, so many ways to make those hidden feelings found. Later he follows that up by a subdued and weepy track Please, where the breakup almost becomes a reality for him. Oh baby please, my heart's on the pavement, where we're building you and me, don't cry that way. But don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. The second half of the album brings you out of contemplation and hopelessness and into a brave new world where he finds himself and is charged with sexual desire. No more prevalent on best track of the album, Phoenix. A supremely funky bass line accompanies Meloche's sultry and sexually charged lyrics, which would make even the 50 Shades of Grey author blush. Blood is a hugely emotive album portraying tenderness, pain and ecstasy in abundance. And I, for one, I'm delighted it has turned out so well. This is a really great album, and I'm excited about what the future holds for Rhye. Rhye with Blood is my first must-listen album. My second must-listen album is from a band called Field Music, and it's called Open Here. It's fair to say Field Music have been round the houses, for this is the 7th album from the Brewis brothers, and it's truly a masterclass in arts pop. Art is defined as the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, a sentiment that really resonates throughout Open Here, with jerky, funky bass lines influenced by the sound of Peter Gabriel, Prince and Bowie amongst others. This is accompanied by instruments where, if you were to look up in the non-existent How to Write Music manual, it would say in bold letters, "Do not pair this melody and these instruments together." A prime example of this is in track Time and Joy. With so much melody, string and woodwind going on, there's a lot to take in. The style won't be for everyone. And I would totally understand if someone was to say it's overbearing. But for me, it's a great example of Field Music pushing their musical boundaries. There is certainly an underlying lyrical theme running through Open Here. One word, Brexit. Checking on a message is about watching the Brexit referendum results come in and wishing it wasn't true. Count It Up is about being thankful for what you have before it's taken away. And then a track simply called Goodbye to My Country. Need I say more? The seriousness of the message they are trying to get across is almost masked by the grooviness of this album. I'm sure many of the tracks will feature in an indie club night around the country for the next 6 months. It's fair to say the producer of this album had the unenviable task of putting together the complex sound of field music into an album which is not just listenable, but works on such a grand scale. Although there is no doubt at times they get carried away trying to portray their musical complexity. But this is far outweighed by the brilliance of field music and their varying composition and tempo throughout this album. It keeps the listener guessing what is around the next corner. Field Music, Open Here, wraps up my must-listen albums this week. See you again next time.